Hi, I was gonna do a video. Sorry, I'm laying down, which is probably just awkward. But I was gonna do a video talking about how I feel so incredibly socially anxious while I'm inpatient and I don't feel like a fucking person and I don't feel like myself. And I wonder, there's a lot there. But I don't feel like making that video right now because I don't want to spiral, and I'll probably spiral if I talk about that. So what I'm gonna do instead is show the art that I do and the art that I've done since being inpatient. So everything in this book so far, let's see how far the book is. I've done this many pages since I think I was inpatient on April 11th, and it's the 26th today, so just over 2 weeks. So yeah, if you want to see how the kind of expressive work that I do, I don't think I'm actually talented at drawing or anything. I like to say that I do expression work with doodles as complementary to the words. So that's kind of what I do, but I've been doing this for like 8 years now. So I've been journaling regularly for like 10 years, but I've been doing it this style for like 8, and it's really helping me. So I'll show you. So I'm gonna try to edit just easily little minor stuff. I'm gonna put the pictures that I am about to read off the words for beside it. I'm fairly certain I have a learning disability. I'm pretty sure it's dyslexia. So I'll say what I've meant to write down. Sometimes it's going to be hard and sometimes it's not going to make sense. But if you read it on the text, if you're able to read my writing, it's not going to be the exact words sometimes because my mind writes its own thing sometimes. So yeah. So the first thing, I'm not going to explain what any of this means. Maybe I will. I don't know. I need to go through this and see what happens. But I don't like explaining art, so I'm not going to give like an interpretation. So feel free to interpret it however way you want. A lot of it is, you'll see what I mean, but a lot of it's like pretty, like it's what it means. Like, I don't know. So the first one says, I feel like a scratch disc stuck in a moment of time. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if there's like open interpretation of this. I guess you mean like, you know, I don't know. I never did art theory, so I don't know if this could be like interpreted in other ways and what I mean. So, but yeah. Second one, this one is very point blank. I've been having flashbacks. While I do these, I'm also having like regular journal entries in here that I'm gonna read one in the end, so you'll see like it's just like regular journal entries, but I also do like just my day, like logging and stuff, and among these expression works. So this page is 2 zines that I did. I do zines because at the actual mental hospital I'm going to, you're allowed to keep books with rings, but at the regular hospital, on their like psych ward, you can't have these type of books. So when I was in Emerge, I wasn't expecting to come here because usually there's not beds at this hospital, but I guess there's not a high demand for beds right now, so they moved me over here. And so usually when I'm there, I do zines or just do art on regular paper and then either tape it onto this book or recreate it, which I don't really like doing, like recreating stuff. I like to keep things just my style. Like, I like to not do things again unless my writing was horrible in the first time and I really liked it, or if I think I can improve it without taking away from the essence of what the original piece was. But I don't know, there's something about not putting effort and just saying in the moment what I'm thinking of and getting that messaging across as quickly as possible. I just appreciate that. It feels the most authentic to me. So yeah, these are 2 zines. I'm gonna read one and then I'm gonna read the other. Should have mentioned this earlier. This is going to be very trauma heavy. So if you can't handle sexual trauma abuse, please don't, the next zine, don't, I'll give a nod, but the second zine, definitely don't read that. The first one is about being trans and stopping hormones, because I got off hormones like 2 years ago. Still trans, still a man. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, no, you're fucking not, but whatever, I'm legally a man, so say whatever you want. Don't know my real fucking name, my birth name. I shouldn't say my real name, that kind of goes against what I said. I don't know what I'm saying. So, this trans zine that I'm trying to say, front page, really simple. Are you a boy or a girl? I will explain why I said that. I hated that question when I was a child. It would stress me out. I had no idea why. Because I didn't fucking know the answer to that question. I didn't know what it meant to be a girl. I didn't know what it meant to be a boy. I felt like I was just a river. And all the other little kids would ask me that. And I'm like, I don't know what this fucking means. So, second page says, go use the bathroom. Because that's something somebody told me and then pointed to the women's bathroom. This third whatever page is 2 pages in. Well, you'll see on the picture. I don't know why I'm explaining it, but it says, one says, I just call it my monthly, talking about my period that I get. I hate calling it that. It triggers me so much, so I just call it my monthly. This one is something I've seen happen a lot when people misgender me. They'll say she, there'll be an awkward pause, they'll be like, it, no, they. Pronouns aren't even they, but better than she, I guess. Definitely better than fucking it. This one is how I feel now. Is T the only thing that made me trans? Am I still a man? And it's just images. Staff alert all the fucking time. I wonder if other hospitals around the world do staff alerts. The amount of times hospitals in the city do fucking staff alert. I feel like it's at least every hour. Like, a lot of the times, because I'll see them run off. Staff alert, when that goes off, all the nurses have to run to their neighboring unit or ward or department or whatever you want to call it. And I'll hear them come back, or sometimes it'll happen in the unit I'm on, and they'll be like, oh, I hit the button by mistake. So, like, it's never, one time it was serious and some really fucked up shit happened, but most of the time it's not. So, yeah, that's the trans one. So, trigger warning. This one is about sexual childhood abuse. So, I don't know if I like layering my wording when I do art, so I don't know if the green writing is obvious, so I'm just gonna say what it says, but it says, what do you want? I did this because a doctor in Emerge, like a psychiatrist in the Emerge, asked me that question, like, what do you want out of being hospitalized? So I did this zine to try to turn my emotions that were really confused at the time, and still am, into something tangible, and also just pass time and do art. So yeah, it says, what do you want? And then on top of the what, it says, I was sexually abused with no justice. On the do, it says, do I want to die? Do I want to live? On the you, it says, you mean so much to me. Or it says, on the want, it says, I want to be free, to not feel burdened, to not feel, burdened. It should be burdened. I want stability. I want to feel cared for. I want to live. Second page. If you can't see what it says, I guess in case if you're not visually, if you don't see things, then this is not the video for you, and I'm sorry. I wish I was more knowledgeable on how to make this accessible for you, but I'm kind of not. Second page says fuck, and on both pages, and then it says, everything feels so overwhelming. I just want the pain to stop. I don't think I want to die, but I don't know if that is enough for me to stop trying. I'm scared I'll try and actually die one day. I come here because I'm scared to feel alone. I know people care, but fuck, I feel alone. Not I'm scared to feel alone. It says I'm scared I feel alone, I think. I don't know. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I said that because my last attempt, I think I made a video about this, but my last attempt led to me realizing that I commit as a form of self-harm and not to actually die, at least most of the time. And I am truly terrified. I think I split that day, if I'm being honest, about dying because I attempt. So yeah, there's more to unpack there, but I don't know if now's the time. So second page is, this is Zendaya's style of art, and you'll see how this is not like River, and other people do art in this here too, but Zendaya has her own very prominent style of art. It's very triggering, so if you don't watch this, please. This whole zine was triggering. This whole video was triggering. So it says pedo, exclamation point. I fucking hate him. And that's Zendaya. I haven't seen her, but she came out to do this, which was nice because I have no idea what happened to her. And then this one, the black writing is, I think it's Zendaya. I'm not sure, but it says, I'm tired of feeling like the burden. I'm tired of feeling like the problem. I'm tired of feeling like the problem. Don't think about it, in quotation, because that's what like my sister had told us, to not just think about the abuser and like what happened to us and stuff. And then it goes on to say, I shouldn't have to, he should be gone, because that's kind of what this whole mission is about, like us having to live with the fact that our abuser is still in our lives. And then this page, I don't know who necessarily it was. I think the hearts were either a little, like Liliana, sorry, or Brielle, because Brielle likes doing hearts too, so I'm not sure which one it was. Could be someone I don't even know. So it says, what can we do to help? You're not alone. And those are the two zines that I did. I'm not gonna give that the time of day. That's just art that I did of someone I'm still not fully over, but I need to get the fuck over them already. It's been years. So this one is, you'll see when I show you, but the rating is, I get scared at night that you're coming. A lot of the flashbacks that the littles have are, I think I talked about it in one of the videos I've posted recently since being admitted, but the doctor said it's like flashbacks with dissociative features that like confuse me about what it really, like, that I'm not, that the abuse isn't happening and it's not that time anymore. I don't really understand flashbacks or what that is, so I don't know how to really speak on more about it. This I'll give context to. It says, I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive you. And on the tombstones, it says pedophile and my angel. This is about my mother, who's currently paying for the funeral plots for her and my abuser, which are going to be together. She did this after knowing what he did to me. So leave that up to you to decide how you feel about that. But this also just kind of shows the BPD in me and like the faulty black and white thinking. I don't like how this one turned out. I think it's ugly, but it says, what people think is the truth is a monster. I think, again, this is BPD and feeling like I'm secretly a horrible person that nobody knows. This is an example of drawing a picture without really knowing what I'm doing and letting the words come to me. Usually I know usually the writing comes first and the picture like I'll draw a picture. Like it's like, I don't write the words down first, but it's like I have a thought of what I want to say and then I'll think of a picture that goes with it. But sometimes I'll just draw a picture first and yeah, but anyway, so this is, sometimes I feel like Bob, trapped in life with no options. I was just gonna draw a goldfish and then a friend that I know from like you kind of get used. Once you are hospitalized a lot, at least in my city, you get used to the same people who are often hospitalized. So this is a hospital friend that I made and I was just gonna call it a goldfish, but she named it Bob, so I went with that. This one kind of how I feel about my mental health. It's not like trauma work or anything, but it says, I need pills to function in society. My normal brain chemicals are not good enough. I'm defective. So let's just brush past that. My friend tells me I need to do more positive art, so I try to make myself do that every once in a while. But this one's nice. It turned out well. It says, when an orchid loses its flowers, that is not the end. It waits for the time it blooms again. That rhymes. I didn't do that on purpose. This is something that I wanted to show because about what I was mentioning earlier about I just mentioned now. I feel like there's either a part of me that I'm not like, that is just developing, like my self-river, just like a new expressive art style that I have, or is potentially another alter. But I normally write like this, and the other stuff I think is more like poetic, like definitely open to different types of interpretation. and I don't relate to it. Like, I don't know, I write it and I'm like, while I'm writing, I'm like, what is this? Like, but I just keep doing it. So this one, sometimes I'll do and I do like, I feel so corny calling it poetry, but I'll do like a little word passage like this, and like in my mind it's poetry, in your mind it's probably garbage. So, but it says, this fear is insidious, slowly creeping into my awareness as the sun says goodbye to the day. At nightfall, my demons come up from the past and live, trapped in all they know, this fear. It's confusing like how I felt then, uncomfortable in the knowledge I was unsafe. I don't know what I feel now as I continue to live in that moment of this fear. This is another good example of how I like to do art. Like, my poetry is very like structured that way. Like, I like things a bit like I know this is actual art style, but I don't know what it's called. But it's like there's either the same flow or like a beginning end. Like, it's a story. It's like a linear thing. I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough. But like when I said like this fear over and over again, and it ended and began with this fear, like that's what I'm trying to say. This is so cute. It was something I was like, I'm gonna draw this, and then I thought of something nice to go with it. It says, my innocence was robbed. The next one, I think Liliana drew this, so it's a little, it's a drawing that one of my littles made, and you'll see what it is. It's a trauma drawing. It's the second time they've done one of those. I was recommended that I look at the color wheel to try to identify my emotions better. And this one is something, it was the color of orange, which it could be like different for every color wheel that's available, like online or something. But the main fear was scared, and then the the other emotions underneath it were like anxious, submissive, insecure, and overwhelmed. And those are emotions that I feel like I feel right now. This is something about suicide. It says, yes, my best keeps getting better, but my worst keeps coming back. So that's that. This is something, I don't know how this drawing turned out. Staffler and Code White. That was fucking serious. Pretty sure Code White means violence. So that was a real one. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can hear that, so if I don't, I just seem crazy, so if you don't, but it's an PA, like, announcement. Anyways, I don't like how this pill bottle turned out, and I try to draw the PRN that I take, but it says, do I take the pill to feel better, or do I endure this pain and learn skills? This is because, I think I spoke about this, but for like the whole day, 7 a.m. to like whenever I went to bed, 10 p.m. or something, I was in a state of panic the whole day, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to take my PRN. And throughout that day, I kept dissociating from the fact of how long the day was actually, like how long I felt that way, if that makes sense. So I didn't realize until the end of the day that I'd felt panic all day. Like, it didn't clue into me until that point. So, oh, this one's sad. It says, another holiday in the hospital. And this one's funny. It's the fidget that I actually really like right now. I kind of moved on from it too. It's not nearby, so I can't show you it. But it says, I'm not entirely sure what fidgeting does / helps with, but I like doing it, which is true. Oh, this is about my mom. So the green marker says you need to be perfect, and then the black marker on top says you can also be evil. And then this is a yin-yang symbol, and it says, is balance truly possible? Can I live in a world where my mom is both flawed and good? Do I need her to be perfect? Those fun emotions. So this is another zine that I made. It's trying to be positive, like positive art that I've done. And it says, so the green writing is it says no more. And then the black writing says, you did this, I shouldn't pay the price. So the first page is a sunflower and then some writing. So it says the book, it doesn't say the book, it says, a tribute to everything I inspired to do one day, but felt unworthy or incapable of seeing that day come. It says left, but it's supposed to be felt. I am more than what he did. I am more than what I think I am, and I deserve to live in a life beyond this pain. And then beside the sunflower, it says, I deserve to plant sunflowers in the garden. There's a drawing of like what I imagine like a shallow waters in a beach, and you see like a starfish and like a shell and some rocks and stuff, and it says, I deserve to see the ocean. I've never seen the ocean. This is a really bad drawing of a heart. I could have done much better, but it is what it is. It says, I deserve to experience love so powerful it allows me to see the meaning of life despite the pain. So that's the zine about positivity. This one, it's not like the most best thing I've ever done, but it's cute. It says, there's good in like army green, and then in pink above it, it says, in me. This one I just like because Blessed to Telephone by Sabi, I don't want to say his name, laugh. So I don't know how to, like, I can picture it in writing, but I don't know how to say it. So I don't know how to say it. But the song is Blessed to Telephone. And the lyrics are, it's nice the way you say my name, not very fast or slow, just soft and low. The same as when you tell me how you feel. I feel the same way too. I'm very much in love with you. That's cute. This one is a fidget toy that my friend gave me. It says, Fred is more than a fidget. He's a gift of love. I must have done all of this in one day because it says there's terror written, and then over top of terror, it says, I felt terror all day yesterday. So yeah. And then, so I must have had the memory come back on Saturday the 19th. No, it says last night, so it happened like Saturday at like 2 a.m., I think. So it would have technically been Saturday, but it was Saturday during the night, and this is Saturday during like the day. And I'm not going to read the journal entry. Actually, maybe I will, because I don't think I wrote anything. No, it has my doctor's names in here, so I'm not going to read it. But in a little like sentence, sometimes I do like blank page and sentence. And it says, I remembered you touched me. This is another one of those word passages. It says, in a flash, it all came back. I remembered it in that moment, all the denial and self-doubt washed away. I was there in the present somehow. Glimpses of the past, both dark, murky, and disjointed, but in the same breath, frightening, all-encompassing and real. It was unexpected, but something I've been waiting for. However, something I never thought would happen. I remembered you touched me. Sorry, I didn't read that the best. So this one is another one that says, my cup is empty, I am empty. I've done like the cup half full and like cliche a lot in different ways. I don't know what it is about that quote that I won't leave. So I'm going to show the full page because I didn't plan this, but it's funny. It's nice how this turned out. But the first, I don't know which one I did first or after, because whatever. But the first one is, it doesn't look like it because my friend said it looks like a moon. It's not a moon. It's supposed to be a cave with like a boulder opening. And it's funny because my friend was like, oh, Christ, because it was Easter weekend. And neither one of us are religious. So I think they're making a joke. But underneath it says, the doors to my trauma are finally opening. And then this one is my attempt at like a little short story, and it's called The Hole. So the first page is just somebody falling through a passage, and it's like the page is like black with like, I think I'm trying to do that whole thing that I was talking about earlier about people who are visually impaired, but it's like a black page with a white tunnel in the middle, and it's someone falling. And then the second one, it says, I feel like I've been falling for so long, I can't think of a time I wasn't. I forgot what the feeling is. I envision a day when I reach land, but deep down, I don't think that day will come. When I first fell in, I was terrified, but now the torment is the nothingness, but yet I still feel that fear. And then there's a picture of a small, like, just black dot, which is supposed to illustrate a hole, and a little stick figure looking into the hole. Second, it says, when I first saw the hole, I was confused, but I didn't question why. Feeling trapped by it, I didn't want to escape. I felt compelled to explore, thinking, how bad could it be? I knew what a hole was. I thought I was prepared, that I already knew what it was. I couldn't be surprised, so I jumped. Do I have regrets? No, because I wasn't the one who pushed me. and then it shows, it's like, there's like a corner of like a white hole in that has like a spotlight shining down and someone just falling through a hole. I didn't explain that well enough, but I don't know how else to explain that. And yeah, that's my little short story that I made. This video is already 25 minutes. I did not expect it to be this long. This just shows how I struggle with a lot of different things about mental health. And it says, I have no motivation to shower, and it's like a little shower head with water sprinkling down. The next one is like my attempts of a basic field of hills and then fog floating above the ground. And it says, the anxiety is like fog, slowly creeping in, unnoticing while reaching all corners in my mind, lingering, subtle, and unavoidable, taking away my ability to see clearly. This one are a few tulips, and it says tulips are blooming because on the other unit that I had, they had a courtyard that you can access at all, where that was accessible at all times, and tulips were starting to bloom there. This one says don't lose hope in bubble letters, and then there's little bubbles and bubbles popping all throughout the page. And I did this because I don't know, I don't know how I felt in the moment, but I felt the presence of an altar I wasn't familiar with. I asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Bubbles. I think she named herself that after drawing the bubble letters, or maybe she already knew her name was Bubbles. I think the name came after. But yeah, and then on the back it says, hello Bubbles, with little bubbles beside it. This one is my horrible drawing of a bunny that is meant to look a little creepy too, and it says Happy Easter. This one is like one of those antique mirrors, and yeah, it says, I don't see myself, my past, my parts, and my emotion. I feel lost. This is words on a page, and it just says, I want to kill myself. Then on the back of it, it says, but I know I can't. Sorry. There's a few that I was gonna do. Oh, this one's good. And this one is like what I try to draw was like an old school projector, projecting like a film or like a stilled image or something onto a projector screen. And the words are, memories don't come back like movies, they're buried deep within. I wonder if they're as deceitfully insidious as they appeared to be. This is another word passage that like I as myself as River thinks that I did, and it says, why didn't you call 911? Something my mother tells me all the time. My tongue was told to be quiet, submit as he was my father. I was bonded by familiar ties above all else. I spoke my pain in subtle ways, attempting to free myself of his torment, yet my cries were not heard. Unable to breathe, I used my last bit of air to plead for a savior, but my rescue never came. With no ability to stop it or save myself, my escape plan became my mind. So this one is, this one is like the altar that I feel like I don't recognize when I write like this. And it says, I feel grand weightlessness. I don't know how to explain it, but I live with this feeling often. My heart feels hollow, but I'm alive. Of every inch of it, every moment, at times I've carried this feeling, anxiety, knowing that something was wrong in the past that wasn't resolved, so now it lives within me. Then and now, I didn't know what it was. How can you know when it was all you've ever known? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the other one that says, why didn't you call 911, was not written by me. And I know that sounds like I'm just saying it all of a sudden now. And if you think that's what it means, is what I'm doing, then I can't stop you, go ahead. But I don't think that was written by me, actually. So, yeah. And like the reasons why I feel like this isn't written by me is like the thing where it's like, I feel grand weightlessness. I wouldn't speak poetically like that. I would have just said, I feel numb and detached. Like I would have spoken like that. And this sentence was like, my heart feels hollow, but I'm aware of every inch of it, every movement. I don't write like what? Like, I just don't write like that. And at times, I've carried this feeling anxiety, knowing that something was wrong in the past that wasn't resolved, and now it lives within me. The first half, sure, but now it lives within me. Maybe actually, yeah, that sounds like me. But then, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, so some of this feels like me, some of this doesn't. So like I said, is it just a new expressive way that I'm trying to express myself in? Maybe. Is it a part that I'm trying to tap, that I'm slowly tapping in with? I don't know. This thing is tricky. Like it's not when, at least in the beginning stages, and I hope I'm not the only one who's like this. You don't know shit from shit. You don't know left from right. You don't know if this is an alter or this is a part of you that is a new part of you, like yourself, like me, myself as River, or is this something that's always been around and it's been around because it was an alter? Like, I don't fucking know. I'm just figuring this shit out. And this one it's the last thing I did. It's word art, and it just says, I don't hate me, I hate this feeling. So yeah. 30 minutes, it's the longest video I've done so far, I think. Hopefully it's good. I'm gonna have such a bitch trying to get all these photos in at the right time. So yeah, if you like this art, I can do more videos like this of my journals throughout the years. Like from when I was an alcoholic. That's some very dark times, but some great healing then and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry for the long video. I thought this video would be like 15 minutes and it was twice as long. So thanks for watching. Bye.